Hello, my beautiful darlings. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Andres, and if you're hooked on books and stitches, you've come to the right place. And welcome also to another reading vlog. This reading vlog, we're going to be reading only horror books, and I chose two books from my TBR that I've been dying to read. So yeah, the two books that I chose for this reading vlog are going to be The Unworthy by Agustina Bastarrica and Play Nice by Rachel Harrison. This is actually a new release that just came out this month, so happy publication month to you, Rachel. And I'm so excited to get into this one because I heard really good reviews, and specifically from Haley Hughes here on BookTube. She was very lucky enough to get an ARC of this book, and she was raging about it. So, and I have very similar taste to Haley, so I fear that I'm gonna love this one for sure. But we're not starting with that one. We're going to go ahead and start with The Unworthy. I actually already started this one last night, and I'm about 27% of the way through, and I have so many thoughts about this book right now. Like, I'm only 55 pages in, am I? Hold on. Yep, I'm only 55 pages in, and this book has really done a number on me already. It's not in the sense of oh, it's so scary, I can't sleep. It's more of so unsettling, so disturbing, and to kind of give you more of a background as to what this book is about. This book is being told in first POV, and it's basically being written as if it's like a diary entry of a sorts from this girl that's within this cult. And this cult has different rankings, starting from the bottom of the bottom, which is servants, moving up to the unworthy, which is what the narrator is. Then it goes up to chosen, and then the enlightened, which is the highest rank, I guess. And then there is the superior god that they all, bow down to. They are the ones that they pray to and listen to for guidance and things like that. Just like in a regular religion, there's a specific type of higher being that you follow and that you pray to and things like that. That's exactly what they have in this cult too. They don't have a specific name for him, and they always say that they're not able to actually say or pronounce his name unless you're an enlightened one. Right now, the narrator is at the rank of unworthy. And how she got into the cult is basically, you don't get initiated into it. You kind of get sucked into it in a sense. And I feel like that's such a culty thing, you get sucked into a cult, But basically, you kind of just show up at the doorstep because you're known as a wanderer before you join this cult. And if you are a woman, you might be selected. You might not, but you most likely will be selected because this is a women only cult. They turn away men, they turn away children, they turn away anything that's not a woman. So, very, very interesting fact on that. That's something that has really piqued my interest, and I'm trying to figure out why is it only women only? But we'll see. As the more I read, the more I'm getting on it, so we'll see. So going back to the plot, the narrator, she got sucked into the cult and she got placed within the unworthy rank, and she's working to go up to become unenlightened. And the cult is set up in a way that it's kind of like a campus in a sense. From what I'm understanding, there's different areas where the certain ranks are able to go to and are allowed to go to. The enlightened are in a completely separate area within this place. There's whispers around the cult alluding to the fact that the enlightened are not actually present, they kind of were off. But that's only because, rumors spread. And also there's been little rumors here and there of people hearing things behind the door where the enlightened are supposed to be, such as screaming and crying and a lot of different mixed emotions. So it's being alluded to the fact that the enlightened don't exist. They were all offed by this higher being, most likely. And that's one thing that we are most likely going down the journey with the narrator to find out if it's true or not, just because she's ultimately trying to become an enlightened herself. So we're going to see how that turns out. I'm not feeling scared or anything, but I definitely have been feeling disturbed. There's certain things that have happened within the cults that the narrator has explained that are very disturbing and very cult-like things. I don't want to go too in depth because I don't want to ruin anything about the book. And like what I've told you guys is really basic things that you could probably deduce from the actual synopsis of the book. But the whole feel of the book and the writing feels very personal, and it's being written in the sense like all of these things that are happening are normal in a sense, like it's not something that's out of the norm. And when they describe life outside of the cult, they describe it like if you were completely lost, a homeless person practically, like with no notion or no guidance and no inspiration to do anything in life. Like once they get initiated into the cult, they feel like they found a calling to something, which is very, very interesting. And that's very heavy commentary on how regular religions are sometimes. They kind of paint it to be the picture that when you join a religion, you have someone to look up to and someone to worship and something to dedicate your life to. So I'm very intrigued with the commentary that's going to be presented in this book. There's a lot more that other commentary, such as like maybe bypasser syndrome, but in a cult like setting, like, you know, you see something happening, but you don't do anything about it. You kind of just look the other way, or some people are low key happy that those things are happening to the people that are getting punished. Like, there's a lot. There's a lot to unravel with this book, honestly. I've been really taking my time, like, really digesting it. I'm even doing, like, certain little highlights on the actual pages, like, of certain things. But I'm really enjoying it. It's exactly like the type of spooky season book that I wanted to start with. It's a relatively short book. It's only like 173 pages, I believe it is. 175, sorry. But yeah, it's a relatively short book. I think I could get this done within like the next 2 or 3 days. We'll see as the vlog progresses. But I'm super excited to finally get into spooky season. And I'll definitely come back here with some more updates about the Unworthy. And yeah, we'll go from there, vlog. Hello, vlog. I'm here with an update on the Unworthy because I am now officially 50% of the way through, and I definitely have a couple of thoughts. So, this 25%, it's definitely been mainly focused on getting more insight on the narrator's life, particularly more of the past, like before she joined the cult. With that concept, they're going back and forth with the timelines. Like, there's some entries that are past, some that are present, and it's been like a little bit of difficult, like a little difficult, definitely, to follow the timelines just because it's not like explicitly written on the book, like this journal entry is past, this next one is present. You have to like get context clues while you're reading those entries. So it was difficult at first when they started introducing the past timeline into the story, but as you keep reading, you definitely start getting more accustomed to that back and forth, and you could definitely decipher between what timeline you're reading from for sure, especially contingent upon the characters that I mentioned within the entries. In regards to the narrator's past life, like before the cult, they this world that they live in is like kind of like dystopian in a sense, I guess. It's just that there was like a lot of ecological disasters. Like, there's full countries that went underwater completely and don't exist anymore. There's a bunch of animals that are completely extinct, like tigers and birds and things like that. Basically, commentary to climate change and the potential effects that climate change could bring, which I appreciate because I am an environmental sciences type of girly. And I definitely believe in climate change, and it's a real thing. If you actually look into the studies that have been conducted by actual environmental scientists, it's a very real thing. But nonetheless, I don't want to go into that tangent right now. I appreciate that commentary for sure in the story. I've been enjoying that, and it's very interesting to read like a perspective that there could be a world that's like that. So basically, when before the narrator was in the cult that she's currently in, she used to only live with her mom. All of her other family was not really either part of her life or they had all died. And then mom dies. So now she's kind of left alone in this completely messed up world. And she got acquainted with some kids that call each other tarantula kids. Basically, just a group of kids that are homeless or orphans, and they don't have anyone to like live with. So they just decided to like stick together. And I love that, you know. But I feel like that storyline is kind of alluding a little bit to the fact that maybe that was a cult in itself. That's just me speculating though. I'm kind of taking it that way, and I just feel like the author's kind of going down the realm of like the narrator has not known anything besides being in a group setting of like-minded individuals following like the same path type of deal thing, which is very culty. So very interesting. That's just like me speculating. Like I said, it's not like neither confirmed nor denied, but that's what I'm getting at. Another thing that's been revealed is that for sure the narrator has attraction to women. I can't say if she's like fully lesbian or bisexual or whatever the case is, but she definitely has had feelings for multiple women at this point, and I love a good like sapphic little addendum of stuff, like you know what I'm talking about, like you know what I'm talking about. In her past there was a specific person, and then now currently in the cults there's been already two other people that she's been attracted to, and she's the narrator's a very helpful and giving person. Like I could definitely tell that her love language must be like acts of service and gift giving and things like that for sure. But I definitely love the sapphic aspect of the book. I love me some gay shit. Fair warning, there's no like explicit spicy scenes at all from what I've read. Right now I'm currently on page 93 and there's been nothing of the sorts. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but there's definitely I don't believe that this story would be going down that route. However, one of the love interests that the narrator had in the cult, she has like these like very strong negative feelings towards her. Like she calls her blasphemous, as she praises the erroneous god, the false son, and I just feel like maybe she has those feelings because liking the same sex within a convent of the same sex might be against the rules or whatever the case is. I don't know. I'm just speculating. That this is all speculation, neither confirmed nor denied, like I said. But very interesting. Very interesting if she has those negative feelings towards this person just because of her attraction towards her that might be frowned upon by the sisterhood, the sacred sisterhood they call themselves. There's this one character that her name is like the superior sister, and I'm not even gonna lie to you. She's a scary ass bitch. Like I would be deathly afraid of her. I would not mess with her to any capacity. Like I would walk by her and look down or look the other way, or if I'm forced to like acknowledge her in a sense, like keep it very like one noted. Like that's like she's not the person to mess with. I will say that. The book has been really good so far. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's been a pretty easy read, but like I said, the introduction of the past timeline and then going back and forth, since it's not so clear when you're actually in it sometimes, that's been like the only difficult part. But the actual story in itself and the way that's been developing has been really good. I'm really enjoying it so far. The first 25% was definitely a lot more horror, like inducing like of fear. I was trying to think of the word. Inducing fear within you. No, not inducing, instilling fear within you for sure in the first 25%. And then that's when it kind of switches over to the past, present timelines, and it gives you more background. So I'm still super into it, super intrigued as to how the story is going to keep developing and how it's going to end up being like at the end. So those are all the updates I have for now, but I will come back later or maybe tomorrow with some more updates. Hello, vlog. I'm back with an update because I have officially finished The Unworthy by Agustina Basterica. It's been, I think, 2 days now since I've updated the vlog, just because it's been a kind of crazy between work and then stuff after actual work. So, nonetheless, I actually have a lot of thoughts, opinions, and feelings about this book. And I don't know. I'm a little underwhelmed. So I know that I've been updating you guys like in each 25% that I read, but I just decided to go ahead and finish off the book before updating you guys just because like at the 75% mark I still felt like there wasn't like a lot to update you guys on. And it's just the second half of the book was like so solely focused around like the narrator's life before the cult, and then also about her past relationships, like romantic relationships, as well as the current one that she has in the actual cult. But I'm not ever opposed to, you know, a romance subplot and things like that, but I feel like the romance took over the story completely. I feel like the author decided to go ahead and run with this romance and just stick to it and nothing else. And it's a little like shocking to me because I wasn't expecting that, you know. I thought that it would be a subplot, you know, we would get little things here and there about the romance, about her life before and her relationships before, or about the current one that she has in the cult and things like that. But I feel like the focus shifted solely into the romance, and that's not what I was expecting from this book at all. One thing that I really did enjoy, that actually gave me like that horror feeling and that like EBGBs type of feel, is that there's a lot of creature horror in it. So there's a lot of like crickets and cockroaches, like mention of eating it or it being like all around your body. So that is definitely one trigger warning that I will give everyone the heads up on, that it's very creature horror like. So if you feel like you get the EBGBs when you read about those things, definitely just keep that in the back of your brain because it's very prevalent. It is brought up and it's very descriptive. And I myself don't like cockroaches at all, or crickets, or any nasty insect. So it definitely was a struggle for me to go through those pages and like not feel like I can't deal with this. You know, like it was a little hard, but I pushed through. I really am. I struggled so much because I was entering this book expecting for it to be based around the cult and the day to day of living in a cult and like the horrible punishments and, you know, the whole nine yards that go into being involved in a cult. But that was only given to us in the first 25%, and then literally in the last like 10 pages of the book. The last 10 pages of the book was honestly fire. Like there was a lot of good things happening back to back. It ended on a really strong note, but lo and behold, what took over again at the end? The romance. The total trigger warnings are definitely grape, um offing people, death, and as well as torture and things like that. So definitely just keep that in the forefront of your head whenever if you do plan to pick up this book, because those are very triggering topics for people and it could be something that you don't particularly want to read about. All in all, I definitely want to say that I'm going to give the book a 3-star. It wasn't exactly what I was expecting, as you guys can deduce from my entire spiel right now, and honestly, I'm a little disappointed. I was expecting a little more. I was expecting more horror and more like gore and things like that, and that's not what I got, unfortunately. So that's why I landed on a 3. But in other news, I have officially started Play Nice by Rachel Harrison. I took off the cover, the dust jacket, just because this is the book of the month version. And I don't like reading hardcover books with the actual dust jacket on, just because it's kind of hard to hold the book. And I have not read a lot. I have literally only read 22 pages because I finished The Unworthy last night before bed. And I like to always go to sleep like by 11:15 p.m. the latest, and it was like 10:45. So I was like, you know what, I still have a little bit. Let me pick up the next book. Let me start it up. Let me see how it is. And honestly, this book has started out really fun, and I know that's not what you expect in a horror book, but it's kind of like what's something you could expect from Rachel Harrison. So the book starts out like she's in like this singles event, I think, and then she's like talking to this guy, and then obviously she's pretending to not know the guy, but the guy's like, we've met, like we've been introduced to each other various of times. Do you not remember me? And she's like, no, I don't. And I was like, you know what? Baddie behavior right there. Baddie behavior. But then, you know, they start getting to know each other again, and then they're gonna go on their merry way back home to do the you know what's this. But all of a sudden, she gets a call from her sister, and it's like incessant calls. Like she's trying to ignore them, but keeps calling, keeps calling, keeps calling. And when she realizes that it's her sister, she's like, hold on, let me go ahead and call my other sister. Funny. And she calls her other sister and she finds out that unfortunately her mom has passed away. I say unfortunately because, that it's your mom that passed away, but mom wasn't the perfect person, and honestly they didn't really have a relationship with her, so it's not affecting them to a point that it would affect like someone that actually has a working relationship with their mother. But nonetheless, it's still a situation that, it's sad. Even if you don't really have a relationship with that person, it's still sad because they are your birth mother. So now they're just like, um the female main character is on her way back home to her dad's house to get together and kind of figure out the next steps. They're trying to figure out if they're going to have a service for her and things like that, and then also what they're going to do with the house that is their mother's, and what are the next steps basically, like who's taking over the house and what they're going to do with it. Are they going to sell it, blah 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 blah. But yeah, the story's being set up very nice. I feel like it's pretty fast paced so far. Again, I'm only 22 pages in, so these are very like superficial thoughts and feelings that I have. Like, there's nothing like concrete at all. But I definitely am enjoying the main character. I'm forgetting her name. Hold on. Cleo. I don't know why I forgot. It's even spelled like in a unique way and everything. But yeah, Cleo, I'm really enjoying her character. I really feel like she's like that fun party girl. But honestly, I don't have much other thoughts besides that. I definitely wanted to at least come on here to update you guys on the Unworthy and let you guys know that I've officially started playing nice. This weekend, we are going to Orlando because we're going to go to Halloween Horror Nights. So I'm not sure how much reading I'll be able to get done, just because we're leaving tomorrow morning. Today's Friday, by the way. We're leaving tomorrow morning, Saturday, and we're gonna go ahead and have some brunch with a friend of mine, and as well as a few of the family members that are going with us. And then after that, we're going straight to Horror Nights. So probably we'll get some reading done on the drive over, maybe at the end of the night, but I kind of doubt it just because Horror Nights is a whole beast and takes a lot of energy out of me. But nonetheless, we'll see how it goes. I'm very excited. I'll definitely put some B-roll on it, of Horror Nights here just so you guys can see, since it's like a spooky reading vlog. And I will come back with some more updates in a few. Hello, blog. I'm back with an update. So it's been a couple of days for sure since my last update. There's been a lot that has been happening. So as you guys saw the B-roll, I went to Halloween Horror Nights with some family of David's, and that was a great time. Honestly, we had a blast. It was super fun. And then, unfortunately, this week it's been a little tough just because my grandmother has been on life support, and we've been kind of just like waiting it out to see if we would have to pull the plug or if she kind of passes on her own. And officially, as of yesterday, September 25th, she did pass away. So it's been a pretty tough week. I'm not going to lie to you. I've been a little slower with my reading for sure. I am 50% of the way now on Play Nice by Rachel Harrison. I got to the 50% mark in the weekend, but I really haven't picked it up since then. But I do still have everything in my mind fresh. I did start other books in the interim just because I was really in the mood for like romantasy, and then all of a sudden Onyx Storm became available through Libby, so that kind of came at the perfect time. But anyways, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk Play Nice. I'm enjoying this book so much, and I came into the I came into the book with the notion already that I think I'm gonna love this book because so many booktubers that I watch on here have already read it because they got in arcs very kindly sent to them, and they were raging about this book. So I just knew that, if I have similar taste to them, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna like this one too. The writing style is so fun, honestly. Like, it's very conversational when there's multiple characters on the actual scene, But when you're outside of that and it's just the female main character, it's very, very engaging and very intriguing, especially like it's trying to go down the realm of like comedic horror. And that's not something that I really thought I would like in a sense, you know. I thought it would be kind of like weird, like why are we putting humor with scary stuff? But Rachel Harrison is doing it really well. So I've gotten to the 50% mark right now, and we are already, within the actual house. We already went through the funeral of the mom, and then they were going to sell the house, but the female main character, Cleo, decided to go ahead and take it upon herself to do a flip, to flip the house, basically. And, now she's discovered that there is a book that her mom published back then that is basically explaining like all of the events of what happened within that house. And this book was actually annotated by her own mom, and it was annotated for Cleo. So the actual annotations really give you some more insight, some more background into the actual story and maybe the truth of the story, because we were fed one thing about how Cleo and her sisters grew up and how her mom and dad's relationship crumbled and things like that. But now, when we're reading Cleo's mom's book with the annotations, we're getting a completely opposite thing. Very, very interesting. I really want to find out who's telling the truth. My personal feeling is that mom is telling the truth just because she is the one that experienced everything within the house, not dad. But I know that Cleo's sisters were there too, and they experienced it as well. But everyone experiences things like has a different perspective on their experiences. So it's just I'm very intrigued to see if we find out the truth, which I believe we will, and how the family is going to manage that truth and move on from it. I think that's going to be a critical point within the book that I'm really looking forward to. And this is not the type of book that's like super unsettling and creepy and like, oh my god, it's a haunted house. Like, there are pretty creepy scenes, but Rachel Harrison is not writing in a way to make you feel unsettled. It's just making you feel like you really are experiencing some type of paranormal thing, but then you get snapped back into reality. I don't know if I'm making sense, but I think I am at this point right now. And I'm loving this book so far. It's definitely giving me that 5-star feeling still. I haven't picked it up again since last weekend. It's been like 5 days now since I've read it, but I've been always eyeing it and itching to get back into it. It's just, with the state of the economy. No, I'm kidding. With the state of how things have been this week between me and my family, it's been pretty difficult. So, nonetheless, when I do have another update for you guys, I'll definitely come back. I'll definitely come back at the 75% mark just because I like to give updates every 25%. But nonetheless, like I said, still 5-star feeling, obsessed with the writing style, obsessed with the story. Like, I'm really intrigued to see how it develops, and then we'll go from there. So I'll catch you later, vlog. Hello, vlog. I'm here with my last and final update because I did officially finish Play Nice by Rachel Harrison. So I know that the last time I updated you guys was at the 50% mark, and I should have done an update at the 75%, but lo and behold, so much has happened. I feel like it's been almost 2 weeks now since I finished this book, and now is when I'm coming back to update the vlog because I was editing the video and I was like, oh my god, I have not filmed like my final thoughts on Play Nice or even the outro. So here we are. All in all, this book was actually so good, and I was thoroughly enjoying it the whole way through, all the way up until the end. Um, it's not the horror book that you expect, as in like instilling fear and like horror elements, like maybe creatures or like ghosts or paranormal situations. Like, there is paranormal aspects in the book because it is technically a haunted house, but it is sort of like a metaphor as well to generational trauma and toxic family dynamics and things of the sort. Rachel Harrison did a really good job with this book. I'm not even going to lie to you. Not only did she do well in the very important plot devices throughout the entire book, but she also did really well with keeping up sort of like that comedic aspect, like I was saying in my previous update. Like it's like a comedic horror of a sense. I don't know. I found myself laughing in various occasions during this book, and honestly, I didn't like dislike that. I really liked that. Like, yes, this is supposed to be reading horror books, and like it's spooky season, and this is technically categorized as a horror book, but still, I really, really appreciated that she was able to also have those lighthearted moments, because some books are so dark sometimes and it's not for everyone. So, you know what? Kudos to you, Rachel Harrison, for being able to do this mesh of comedy with horror together so well, honestly, from start to finish. I gotta say that, the last 25% where like the plot twist happen and you find out some more info on the actual family dynamics and like on the past, from like referencing back to the mom's book and like growing up as a child, Cleo and her sisters growing up as children in that house. You get a lot more revealed, and it's a pretty solid plot twist. I had my suspicions going into the book, like reading through it, that this would may have been the plot twist. So I guess it was a teensy bit predictable, but you know, nonetheless, besides that, I still think it was a very solid plot twist and great commentary, like I said, to the generational trauma and toxic family dynamics that get passed down for many generations, for lack of a better way to say, like it gets passed down for sure. And then the ending, like the resolution and how Cleo was able to come out of this a lot more clear, level headed, and to work on herself at the end of the day to ensure that these things don't happen and she doesn't pass along the generational trauma. Really, really good. Like, I have no notes. It was great. I really thoroughly enjoyed this book, and I did rate it overall 4-star. So out of the two books I read in this vlog, this was definitely the better one in my opinion. The Unworthy, I know that I had my struggles and my feelings about it just because I wasn't really into the whole romance plot that took over completely in the book. But I'm really glad that this book came to save the day and helped me not feel like I'm losing hope in horror books. And actually, referencing back to The Unworthy with the romance plot taking over, this book also had a romance plot, but it was like a subplot, like the tiniest little thing. Like, we would get glimpses here and there of Cleo and this guy that she was with. I believe his name was Austin, if I'm not wrong, which was like the neighbor of the haunted house. We would get glimpses here and there, and we would know about them and them being together, but it didn't take precedence. Like, it didn't become a freaking love story like The Unworthy became. So yeah, enough ranting about The Unworthy, because I'm really like shutting it down. Like, I'm putting it down, and I don't want you guys to think that it's not a good book, because it is a good book still, especially if you do like cult books. But out of the two, this was my favorite, as you have already deduced from this entire vlog, most likely. But nonetheless, we have come to the end of this vlog. I really, really enjoyed doing this type of style of video, like reading a specific genre for a reading vlog. I definitely do see myself doing that again in the future. I don't want to hold myself to it just in case, but I do want to do another reading vlog of also reading horror books, since we are still in October and it is still spooky season. So I'm going to try to do it just because I do have a couple other books on the docket for the month of October that are horror. So there might be one, there may not be one, but just in case, I want to put it out there that there might be another vlog. So if you enjoyed this one, make sure to go ahead and give me a like and subscribe to my channel. And make sure to hit the notification bell just so you're notified every single time I post a new video, especially if I post another horror reading vlog. If you made it this far into the video, I definitely want you to go ahead and comment the ghost emoji in the comments, in case you don't know what to comment, but also because I want to know who the real ones are that stayed very all the way to the very end. Also, let me know if you've read any of these two books and if you like agreed with my thoughts and feelings about it, just because I feel crazy sometimes when I read something that's like so like highly popular amongst the book community, and I'm like, I actually didn't like it that much, because I feel like I could relate to a lot of people's tastes, since I have like such a mixed bag of genres that I always read. But I want to see, did you feel the same way that I felt when I read Reading the Unworthy or Play Nice? I want to know, so drop me a comment. And with that, my beautiful darlings, let's get hooked.